Welcome to Wargroove. This is my epic, crazy match against the Mercenary, this mysterious new challenger who suddenly appeared and started taking on some of the best players. I was very excited to play the Mercenary, and they challenged me on Butterfly. Now, important to note, I'm player 1. I like being player 2 on Butterfly, and I hadn't played Butterfly for a few months. So I wasn't exactly sure how to open. I picked Koji into Dyoda, which may or may not have been the smartest thing in the world, but I like Koji. I'm a Koji player. Even if the matchup wasn't great, I thought, for me personally, it would give me maybe an edge. Now, I skip builds on my main island initially and go for an early port. That was a mistake. My opponent, as you can see, they went for the early rookery. So they're going to build a balloon on turn 2 and get their commander on the front way faster than me. And I only build the balloon turn 3. So basically, I've just squandered my first turn advantage there. And now it's going to play as if there was second turn advantage. Additionally, I'm missing a few builds on some of my barracks to try to rush out merfolk. That may have been another mistake. Take a look. My opponent is spamming swords. Not pikes, swords. So they're going to have a great capturing phase. And that's why I really suffer in this opening. Take a look at what I do here. Now, my balloon placement here, all wrong, completely wrong. The Mercenary told me after the match that you're really supposed to put it on this forest tile here. Because I don't, my commander is going to have a hard time being responsible for this village and the one to the far right, and this soldier's not going to know where to go. But take a look at the difference in what I did and what my opponent did. See right here? They put their balloon on this forest tile. Now, their commander attacks the village, and their sword captures this village. That's so smooth. And now the balloon can go back and start bringing more troops to the front. And I'm just kind of fussing around. So initially I feel like, oh, I'm getting wrecked in this opening capture phase. At least I have lots of merfolk. Hopefully that can help me out. You see, now I have nothing to capture this village, so that's going to delay my commander another turn. And this sword just kind of runs down here because I didn't really know what else to do with them. I figure I'll bring something else to chain capture these villages. So it's much more awkward, much less refined. My opponent was very, very good on Butterfly, and that's definitely demonstrated in this opening phase of the match. Now look, pike and sword balloon near the center. They're going to start capturing this village and putting pressure on the center already. And I'm nowhere near that yet. They've already completely stolen this village from me. It's crazy, and their merfolk production is not really behind mine, or about even on merfolk. Alright, so now I was forced to use my commander to capture this village, which is going to waste an additional turn, because now my commander has to come back down, attack this, capture it. Their commander's already done and ready to fight, and mine is still fussing with villages. And I just kind of awkwardly plop my spear there because I haven't captured this yet. Well, their spear is already halfway to the center of the map. So I am super far behind. I'm not going to be able to take that village next turn. So many villages I just can't grab. And at this point, Mercenary is 300 or 400 gold ahead of me every turn. And I don't know how the heck I'm going to make up that difference. Besides, look at this wave of swords that's about to crash. Alright, so I do the best I can. I start capturing villages in my territory, using Koji to finally take that out. I still don't even have it yet, and bringing down my merfolk. Now, my opponent has done all that already. They're done with the capturing phase. They just start rushing forward with merfolk, ballooning an alchemist onto the field. These swords can just march forward and pressure my villages. My villages are getting pressured by swords. That's how badly I'm behind right now. It's crazy. Now, Koji is still like, what am I doing here? I guess I still need to capture this village, right? And I'm starting to peck at him a bit with my merfolk, because I did make a lot of those. I want them to be useful for something. Meanwhile, my opponent, oh, forget it. Take a look at this. Look at this. I'm just under attack. They're marching forward. They're healing off villages they stole from me. Yoda has Groove already, and they're right next to my stronghold. My village just got stolen by swords, and more pikes have just been ballooned in. I'm completely getting wrecked. And now my opponent built a witch, built harpoons, The harpoons, however, I think was a bit of a mistake, because they had momentum, and that slowed them down a bit. It's going to take some time for those harpoons to get in position. So I start positioning my naval for a counterattack. I start clumping them together, grouping them, getting ready, and being a bit aggressive with naval to try to recover some income that I've lost. On land, I'm just trying to not die. I put as many troops near my stronghold as possible to try to prevent it from going down, and Koji is all the way over here trying to make his long walk back. I've got that balloon, and maybe I can use that to bring him back. Now, Ryota has Groove, and is next to my stronghold. And the Witch is coming in, the Alchemist is coming in, the Pikes are coming in. They've stolen half of my territory already in the mid, and they're positioning for an attack against me. Take a look at that. They've stolen even some of my villages on naval, and I went naval heavy to start. It didn't matter. So here, I finally start going in. I go in with my Pikes, but I'm a little bit careful. I don't want to get too close to this main force on the right, because if this can't attack me, if I'm only fighting where I have more troops, even though I'm outnumbered 2-1, I'll still be able to trade fairly well. So I make a very good trade, notice, by taking that pike out with my knight, because they didn't build a lot of pikes early. My pike can't be counterattacked by anything effectively. Alchemists and swords can't trade into a knight like that, and the pikes are too far away. So at the very least, I can trade into him a little bit. Now on the right here, I take naval advantage. Look at that. Because I have double turtle, and their harpoon is too far down to the south, I was able to actually go in here, and if they attack into me, I'll win. I'll win with my heavier turtle pressure. So that gave me the naval advantage on the top right. Now on the bottom left, I do the exact same thing. Double turtle, and I'm able to trade in very well. They can't counterattack me. Now, I shouldn't have been able to do this, mind you. Mercenary made a mistake by getting too close to me with their naval units. If they had backed off a bit, and that harpoon had been able to come in, I wouldn't have been able to do that, and we'd be even on naval. Now, I'm just getting hexed, attacked, I'm getting sword harassed. They're trading swords into pikes because they can. There are just so many swords. And here's the Ryota Groove. Now, notice it took out pretty much this pike, heavy damage to that pike, and this knight. I think it would have been smarter to attack this pike line, because them being at high health is what lets me counterattack later, and this knight can just sort of heal. But that being said, I still took heavy damage from this. They stole another one of my villages and are continuing to attack into me. And look at this, just ballooning units right into the middle of my formation, because I'm so outnumbered. It's crazy. I'm just getting stormed by units. As I said, though, at sea, I have the advantage, because I had more turtles, and lets me trade really nicely. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is take out that Alchemist and any air units, because I have a dragon, and I don't want my dragon to get hurt. So I start going very aggressive there. And then on the right, well, I can just abuse my superior naval power. Though I sort of go in a little bit too deep on the right, because I get a bit greedy. But on the left, I dominate. I have way more merfolk, a much better position. I'm able to start taking back some territory a little bit. Now here, I'm able to get Koji Groove, so I can pressure Ryota a little bit, because Ryota is not at full health. And Koji Groove is very good for lethals. Now, on my dragon, I just take out a unit so that I can put my witch next to it, shielding it from a witch crit, meaning if the witch goes into my dragon, it won't trade that well. And additionally, I could take out their balloon. Now I just need to finish off this alchemist, and my dragon is relatively safe. There's nothing that can hit this witch either. Koji can't be lethaled. I make very sure of that, because after all, they do have a few witches and hexes incoming. They have a potential pike crit. Ryota can attack Koji. I can't guarantee that some of my pikes won't get removed, so I'm very careful. I make sure to block on top with that balloon so that the combination of things necessary to kill me can't happen. Now, Mercenary starts spamming witches at this point. More witches keep coming in, and now it becomes a war of the witches, and since they still have econ on me, although I'm closing the gap on naval with econ at this point in time, check out the unit count in the center. And that merfolk... So, that merfolk decided to flee from my superior naval power by going onto land, and it's slowly journeying across the land. That was a pretty funny play, but also a pretty good one. Alright, so let's take a look here. I start going ham on Naval on the bottom left because I can. I have superior power, they keep challenging me, and I can trade at an advantage. And when you can trade at an advantage, you want to trade. Now, on the top right, my opponent started building up forces that could threaten me, so I back off a little bit. I make sure to heal this turtle outside of the harpoon range, so now I have another turtle, and they have no turtles, definitively keeping my naval superiority on the bottom left. Now, on land, I'm kind of in a sticky position. That crescent formation is almost impossible to attack into. Any unit I put here can be completely flanked and destroyed. So I sort of compromise between going in and not going in, and I think it ends up hurting me. I do a double witch hex, which doesn't really do a lot of damage because I'm mostly hexing swords. And then I try to take out this witch, but the bombs aren't enough to finish it off. So at this point, I just sort of shield Koji to try to prevent myself from dying, and then continue to put witches and dragons next to each other to try to protect my air units, but I feel like I'm probably going to lose this turn. That being said, it doesn't quite happen, as you can imagine, but my opponent does do heavy damage. We start trading air units around here. I get hexed, alk attacked, witch attacked. Anything to bring my air units down as low as possible. And the pikes go in, take out more of my units. I'm just getting surrounded. And now, my opponent's army that was mostly swords is mostly pikes. So I've lost my advantage there. The witch spam continues. The one good thing about the witch spam is they're not making like a dragon or a harpy to harass me, so I can continue to win on naval on the bottom left. But on the top right, I made a mistake. I went too deep, and I have a little bit of trouble holding my ground there. That being said, I'm still able to do heavy damage and continue harassing him. I'm able to take this. I attacked it first with that one because I wanted that one to go through and hit the harpoon, but I didn't get a high roll there, I got a low roll, so I had to just use this one to take it out. But I continue to destroy him on naval in the bottom left, and that gives me a little bit of econ security to make up for all these villages I've lost. I go for a hex to take out his 1 health witch with my 1 health witch, and then try to target his anti-air as much as possible, and giving Koji a little bit of groove points there. Then I take out another witch with my alchemist, which is always a good trade. But that being said, even after taking out his final witch there, I know I'm going to start losing my units to their alchemist and witch, and this entire contingent is going to start falling apart. The dragon is actually perfectly safe there, since I destroyed any anti-air near it, so I'm free to harass that archer and take this out with my knight, letting me steal a little bit of econ away. I try to hurt Yoda a little bit, but now it's all I can do to hold on because I'm still heavily outnumbered, and now I'm also outpiked. My opponent goes really hard into me and picks apart my line. I'm just getting destroyed at this point. Look at all this crazy damage I'm taking. I've lost my alchemist, I've lost most of my army, and I've just been hexed, surrounded, attacked. Koji's getting pretty low. I made sure at every point they could not surround me, but still, heavy damage. Now, I made the mistake of letting both my turtles get attacked there, and the double turtle is how you keep naval superiority. I just lost that. Now I have no turtles. So I'm starting to lose my grip on the top right and naval. On the bottom, though, I'm still in complete control. I can just assassinate the rest of his units from relative safety, and I win naval in the bottom completely. So that's how I stay econ. That's how I keep my econ and even get an advantage for a few turns. Now, I screw this up. The turtle was meant to be there, but I put him there by mistake, and I also thought like I had another merfolk or something. So because of that mistake, I'm not able to do as much damage as I should have, and that's the final straw that loses me the top right naval. On land, I just use a witch hex to try to start harassing stuff, trying to just land units here, even though I know some of them are going to get destroyed, because I'm just throwing bodies on the ground. This is the beaches. I'm under attack. I know I'm going to lose that alchemist, but trade up 400 gold, worth it. And I got to get rid of that witch, because too many witches, and you'll just hex lose the game. They can just hex your commander to death. So I'm doing everything I can just to stay in this now. I've won bottom naval. Top naval is coming about even, and I'm about to lose it. But the center of the map, that is where I need to not die. They can kill my commander, they can kill my stronghold. The land battle is the main front, and Yoda has groove again. Ah, that charge speed. Now there are 3 witches coming at me. My witch is safe, but still, I've got 3 witches, a Wargroove, archers, pikes, everything they need to take me out. I've got to be careful here. And yeah, this is where I start to lose on the top right. But on the bottom, thankfully, I still have control, so I can do a little bit of heavy aggression here. Now, the reason I don't attack that village this turn is because I'm going to destroy it next turn, and I wanted this one here so it could threaten, maybe, like, threaten something they built there, or maybe start threatening, like, the barracks or something, I don't know, anything to delay them. Either force, like, a dragon build here, or just anything to stop them from pressuring the mid, right? And if they choose to ignore me, then I can take more villages, or I can take their production. Now, I have 2 dragons, which is pretty nice. And I start positioning everything in, like, a counterattack formation. I heal my other dragon, so I have a 10 and an 8 dragon. I start retreating Koji, I retreat my witch. All my powerful units are behind a pike line, and it's difficult to attack into it. I can't kill all these pikes, but I'm hoping to just stall, maybe until they attack badly into me and I can counterattack. Or I can build up enough units that their unit supply chain can't make it to me in time and I can break even. Basically, anything I can do to not die. But what I'm really hoping for, but what I've been trying to do all game, was kill Ryota. But notice, they've always kept him away from my units. They've always kept him behind a wall of units. They've always kept him at high health. I have not been able to even try to kill Ryota all game. In the mid, when he backed off a bit when Koji had Groove, Mercenary was afraid of that double Koji bomb. So Ryota was way to the back. And I'm thinking, Ryota has Groove again. Maybe he'll screw it up and give me a chance to kill him. Because that happens a lot with Ryota players, and it is the only reason I go Koji into Ryota. Because for some reason, Koji baits Ryota into bad grooves. Now take a look at this groove. Huge damage, well, a little bit of damage to some of my main troops. But where did Ryota end up? On the road. That was preventable. You could have just moved your pike here and gone like zoom, zoom, like down, and he would have been safe again. But no, maybe he wanted Ryota to keep on that pressure. Maybe he was trying to attack me, be very aggressive. But putting Ryota on road is a death sentence anywhere near me because I'm the sneaky dragon. So realizing that that was a mistake, Mercenary immediately starts to try to cover Ryota with a lot of troops. I'm not sure if they knew at this point what they had done or were just trying to protect their commander. But either way, that was a heavy move. You see it sometimes in tournaments where if you're like pressured on a timer, players will sometimes leave their commanders on the road. So my alchemists were ready for this. I was waiting for this. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. I double take out his air units, and now I've got Witch Hex, like a 7 merfolk, ranged attack, it's not a crit, sword on top, and most importantly, and this was really all I needed, double dragon crit. Of course, being the sneaky dragon, I had to end it with some sneaky dragons. 2 of them. That makes this a lethal for the record books, and a great ending to a great game. Alright, it's almost the new year, so if you have a great play, your best play of the year, tell me about it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Check out some other videos, and as always, welcome to Wargroove.